I'm going to title this one, The Answer is in the Back. If you read the King James Bible, you'll see that the book of Revelations is the very last book. Now, they've said that chronologically, things are arranged a bit different. The book of Job is supposed to be the first, etc., etc., etc. But if you read the King James Bible, you see that the book of Revelations is the very last book of the Bible. And I believe that was done for a reason. Back in school, when they used to give us textbooks, now that everything is online, I don't know if they still do that anymore. But back in school, when they used to give us textbooks, the answers were always at the very end of the book, at the back. The answers to all the questions, the examples, everything was always at the back. I made this video today to say that and I believe those your college textbooks, school textbooks were also based off of the format that the Bible was made. Because the book of Revelations pretty much sums up everything that will happen, and that everything that has been a mystery up till now will finally be revealed at the very end of time, which is the back end of this very life that we live. If you notice, John talks about a whole lot of things that some of them are still being debated and so on and so forth. I'm not going to get into that, but the answers are at the back. Many times the Bible will say you'll hear a voice behind you telling you, go, this is the way, walk in it. Because the answer is in the back. Even when Moses asked God, show me your face, God said, no. Hide behind the rock, I'll cover you, and I'll pass by and let you see my back. Because that's where the answers are. And truth be told, if we see God's face, we may not even be able to comprehend what we are looking at. That's why God probably clothed himself in light, because light is more easier to understand than the face of God. God knows the end from the beginning, because God is already working with the answers. And then he begins to, it's a mystery of how God does it. God starts off with the answers, and then he constructs things forward. And God also wants us not to despise the days of small beginnings. Why? Because the answers are at the back. And when I say the back, I mean the very end. You may start off small, but if you continue in consistency and faith in God, you will eventually reach the answers, which is at the very end of that book, of that chapter in your life, where things will begin to make sense. I believe it's also true that you may never fully understand what God is doing in your life until you reach the end of it. You never know why you went through some of the things you went through and it didn't make sense. Even though you lived by all the principles, you did good, but some things still happened. You will never know maybe in this life until you reach the very end of it before God. And even for God to help man understand why things are the way they are, where sin came from, God had to take Moses all the way back to the beginning of time. Maybe you can call it day zero, for him to give us how things were created, because I'm sure Moses had a bunch of questions and God said, look, let me take you to the back, because that's where the answers are. The answer to your future lies in your past. The answer to, for instance, you see people exhibiting certain behaviors today. It did not start today. It started at the back. The answer to why they are the way they are started in their past, which is the back. So when God wants to give you an understanding of things, he may take you on a time travel to the past to see the origin of things and how it became what it is today now. And he can also show you what he intends for it to be in the near future or in the distant future. Who knows? It all starts at the back. The back is the beginning and the holder of all answers in God. Ask God to help you study your past so that you can change it, change those habits, those addictions, and your future would be better.